So today's going to be a little special because we're actually going to talk about our partner portal, right? So in addition to our other partner tools that you're already familiar with, like our FiberLookup, Pricing Pro, we also have our dedicated partner portal. This is the one-stop shop for all our partners to access resources, marketing material, provider information, and just a whole host of other beneficial things to improve their sales process and to get more familiar about, their ACS team and what we offer. With that being said, every ACS partner should have a login to their portal. If you don't have a login, once we send the recording and the email, there's going to be a button that says here, request logins or help reset your password because we want all our partners to be utilizing the partner portal. Every partner is going to have their own dedicated team, right? This is something that the ACS offers. This is the ACS experience, right? Every partner that signs up with ACS, depending on your region, right? If you're West Coast, Central, Northeast, Southeast, we have different channel managers all across the country. So we like to pair you up with someone that's in your time zone, right? So here in front of me, this is my ACS team. I'm on the West Coast. This is the team that the system's defaulted to me. Your team might look a little different, but I still wanted to highlight, you know, really the role of every person that's going to be on your team, how they support you, and ultimately how you can rely on them, right? So my ACS team, this is going to be Patrick Fidel. He's the West Coast channel manager. Again, yours might vary, but the main takeaway here is that every 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 ACS partner is going to have an ACS channel manager that's going to have over a decade of experience, right? I think the average tenure of all our channel managers, something like 13, 14 years. So these guys have been in the industry, they've seen it all, they've done it all. So you're just, as partners join the ACS program, they're going to be in good hands knowing that they're working with someone with a lot of tenure, a lot of expertise to assist them with all things. And really, the channel manager, that's your go-to person, right? This is the person that you're pretty much CCing on all your emails, any questions about the partner program, and then of course any sales related questions as well, right? They're going to be a really great resource for sales strategy, quoting support, and really that high level discussions about how to support your customers. In addition to that, every ACS agent also has a dedicated support manager, right? And your support manager, think of them as someone you can go to for quoting assistance. These support managers are going to be very involved in the provisioning process. So they're going to have updates on the installation. They're going to know different milestones where we are with an order completion. So really rely on them for those types of questions, but also for that quoting support, right? Maybe Patrick's in a meeting, maybe he stepped out for lunch. You always have an additional person that you can go to for that added support. Every ACS partner also has a dedicated marketing manager, right? We really preach to our partners if you need any kind of support, whether that be, creating one sheets that maybe promote your business, some of the services you offer. We've done landing pages, email campaigns. That's huge, right? You want to find creative ways to target your existing customer base or generate new leads. We have some very creative ways and in generating scripts, email blast, and graphic designs where we can support those initiatives. So feel free to utilize our resources. On the marketing side, under resources, if you go to the marketing page, there's actually a marketing questionnaire, right? Instead of just, reaching out directly to Holly, we have a questionnaire where we can really fine tune what is it that you're looking for, right? Your target audience, what kind of designs are you looking for? And then really curating that ask so that we can create something that meets those expectations. And then lastly, every ACS partner has a dedicated partner success manager, and that's myself, right? And I support our partners with demos like these, right? If you have a big team, even if you have a smaller team, I'm happy to jump on a call, lead these types of demos where we walk through the partner portal, we talk fiber lookup, we talk pricing pro, we talk about all the tools that's going to help enhance and provide value to your company. In addition to that, I know commissions, right? If you want to talk commission dollars, partners love to talk about commissions, right? How much am I going to get paid? When am I going to get paid? How does commission works? I'm happy to break that down for you guys on these personal and dedicated calls. And also, if I have partners email me all the time, hey Sergio, I have this deal coming up. Can you help estimate my commissions or just help me walk through and understand what the commission cycle looks like? And I'm happy to break that down anytime. So, guys, the main takeaway here is every ACS partner has a dedicated team. Log into your partner portal to find out who your team is. If you're not already working with them, it's a great time to kind of rekindle that connection because we're all here to work for you. One of the biggest things that we preach is that there's no generic inboxes, right? We're not going to send our partners to a generic mailbox at generic.com. It doesn't work like that. We want every partner to have a real face, a real person that they can connect to for all the things that they need. So in addition to your dedicated team, on this homepage of your partner portal, we have industry updates. I always love reminding our partners, check out those industry updates, right? Because we're always adding stuff, week by week, there's always some kind of new update. You can see some of the latest ones, right? Bird Eye, this was a new provider that we've added to our portfolio. Solido Fiber, another new provider that we added to our portfolio. These are very unique providers, so, be sure to check out those industry updates. Anytime there is provider incentive, whether that be a customer incentive, right? Maybe they're offering free months or discounted services or they're adding a business phone. We're going to promote those on that industry updates page. And it's one of the best ways just to keep a pulse in what's happening in the industry. If we keep scrolling down here, provider spiffs. And I won't get too deep in as far as the spiffs because there's dozens of these, right? And depending on the partner's agreement, obviously you guys earn a percentage of these spiffs based on your agreement. But we like to be very transparent about the spiffs that are being offered, right? You can view all the spiffs, you can filter by the provider, by keyword, by product, right? Maybe you're selling UCaaS or it's SD-WAN or internet and you want to find those specific providers, you can toggle that on. But we like to keep it very transparent and very accessible for our partners. And that's what you'll see here. All the different spiffs that you can access, all the different multipliers, they're available for you here. And then at the very bottom, we have all the new ACS providers. We love to remind our partners, hey, these are the new providers that we've onboarded, or maybe we made an update, right, on some of those pages, and that's why you'll see some of those providers there. So again, it's just a great idea when you log into the portal, you see your team, you're reminded of all the agent updates, you can see the latest spiffs, and you can also see all the latest ACS providers over the next course of the next few months in this series as we continue to dive deeper into other things. I'm going to dive deeper into some of the other feature rich things of the portal, like our orders page, eventually the commission page, and then also the dedicated provider pages. We can easily spend another hour here just talking about portal resources, all the value that's in this partner portal. But just to kind of keep it concise today, really as an introduction to the partner portal, there's only one last thing I wanted to touch on, and it's this dedicated page here called ACS Automotive. So ACS is the only TSD with a dedicated ACS Automotive division. What that means is we have a specific division dedicated for partners who work with customers that have auto dealerships, right? Now I'm going to scroll down here. We really go out of our way and we have a very rigorous process, right? There's so many providers that want to join our portfolio and we get so many inquiries about wanting to sign up with ACS. But our leadership team, our council, they do a really good job of vetting all these different providers. One, to make sure that our partners have protections, right? That you guys are going to get compensated. There isn't going to be some weird expectation if something happens to your customer where they're not going to pay. All our partners are going to get compensated. There's going to be evergreen protections. Um, And so those are just some of the things that our leadership vets for. And when it comes to onboarding providers, specifically for the automotive division, we do a really good job of only onboarding providers that are curated to this specific sector. For example, you can see here some of those providers: Auto Trainer, Better Vantage Point, Call Review, Dealer OMG, Dealer Pay. These are providers that thrive working with auto dealerships, right? They're not generic providers. I mean, we're all familiar with all the other dozens of providers that, might claim that they have solutions for automotive dealerships or different types of verticals. But these providers, and this list continues to grow, these are proven and vetted providers that we are utilizing today to support our agents, customers who have auto dealerships, right? And I really just encourage all our partners to just navigate to that page, ACS Automotive. You can learn more about how we approach this differently, all the different products specific to auto dealerships, right? Target advertising, payment processing. Um, we have curated docs for this division. And then with just a breakdown of some of the solutions, right? The solutions in the automotive industry are going to vary from something from finance or healthcare or dental. So we really do a good job of breaking that down. And then lastly, here we have videos. Guys, if you have 2 or 3 minutes in your day, if all you had was 2 or 3 minutes in your day, through our ACS wow factor, what we've set out to accomplish is creating is connecting with these providers to create 2 to 3 minute videos where they give a concise breakdown about their product or a product feature, right? So Zip Deal talks about pre-delivery systems, Dealer Pay talks about their unique payment processing for auto dealers, and Call Review talks about their test track that helps auto dealer employees become experts at talking to customers, handling objections. It's a really cool internal tool. But again, these are 2 to 3 minute long videos. It's through our ACS Wow Factor. I encourage everybody to check that out. So I'll wrap up here on the partner portal side and I'll jump into the fiber lookup, right? Because that's a tool that continuously evolves and gets better. And what's nice, there's some quick links here, right? Under Partner Center, just go here to fiber lookup and it'll jump me there easily. Now I'm going to type in an address here. I'll hit lookup. And again, ACS partners who are on this call, you should already have access to this tool. If you don't have access to this tool, we want to get you access. This is going to be a game changer. If anyone's on this call or watching this recording and you're looking at this and saying, that looks really cool, I can see how I can benefit from that, you really need to get in touch with one of our local channel managers, right? Someone in your region, so they can talk to you about the ACS partner program, the benefits, how we're different than some of the other TSDs, and ultimately, how relentless we are to supporting you and your customers. And obviously through these tools, right? All our partners get access to these tools. These are free tools. They're also proprietary tools. These are developed by ACS in-house. We maintain it, we monitor it, we enhance it. It's all done in-house here at ACS. So we have that added benefit of just having full control of the tool. And that's how we're able to deliver it to our partners for free and continue to improve upon it. So just really quickly, right? The fiber lookup, this is the real-time availability tool. And as you can see here, I typed in an address. I have the bird's eye satellite view of what I'm looking at. The house indicates the address that I've entered. And you'll notice all these different clusters, right? These clusters, um, especially when you're in these downtown areas, it just consolidates all the different providers that might be in that building or might be in that region. So one of the alternatives, if you hit uncluster here, it's going to expand that selection. And at first you're looking at this and you're like, what the heck am I looking at? There's a lot of information, right? But once you really understand the fiber lookup, you'll come to find out it's very intuitive and it presents the information in a way that's really easy to understand. So if we look over here at the left-hand side, this is the best way to interpret the results. As you can see here, for this address entered, The system recognizes, hey, this is a data center. It gives you that information, right? Maybe some of the providers that are in this data center. In addition to that, we've broken it up by product categories, right? So for shared internet providers, Spectrum Coax is green. And then I love reminding our partners about this. Just hit that information icon if you ever just want to be refreshed, or if you see a status where you're like, I think I know what that means, but I just want to double check. It'll pull up this pop-up, and as you can see here, green indicates address is serviceable. We can proceed with installation truck roll. Dedicated fiber providers. These are all the fiber providers that are on net in this building. And again, it's a data center, so granted, it's going to have a lot more availability than your typical, mom and pop business, but the tool is still utilized in the exact same way, right? You enter an address, you look at the results, and then you're interpreting, what's available at the location over here on this left-hand side. And as we scroll further down, you'll see other product categories like internet resellers, AirSpring, Nitel, which you're familiar with, fixed wireless options, right? So not only are you getting, your traditional fiber, you see fixed wireless options that are also available, like Beyond Reach, Natural Wireless. They're a new regional internet provider that we've onboarded, and partners are already sharing positive feedback just working with them and about them. So again, what one big perk about ACS is, we're always looking to grow our partner portfolio to give our partners more options when it comes to, internet availability, and really for all kinds of products, right? But yeah, Natural Wireless sticks out to me. Just they're one of our latest providers that we've onboarded, and again, just to give our partners more options to give their customers, a better selection and more competitive options to choose from. And then lastly, Hughes, right? Hughes is a satellite internet provider. You'll see them just about with every address that you enter, depending on the, it's not always going to be a good fit depending on the customer, right? Maybe for a customer that's more rural, remote type area, that's where they're going to thrive. And then at the very bottom here, you have things like telco name, right? This is Verizon territory. Cable provider is Spectrum. And then for those technical people, right, you have latitude, longitude, you have the central office information, things like that, right? So you can interpret all that stuff here. Central office address, the distance from the central office, right? Some of our partners just really like to know that technical information as they're talking to their customers. So again, this is the fiber lookup, real-time availability, and now we're going to move into Pricing Pro, right? I'm just going to click this button here. Now this is the real-time pricing tool, right? So this is two tools in one. This real-time pricing tool is going to allow us to, depending on the category that we select, get real-time pricing for these carriers. So I'm going to select dedicated internet and shared internet just for this example. And very simply, I can select, right, Spectrum Fiber, maybe want to see what AT&T, I see they're out of region, I'll unselect them. Verizon, on net, AirSpring, one of those resellers, and maybe we'll add Lumen, right, we saw they were on net. And then over here at the bottom left-hand side, we see Spectrum Coax. So I'll select Spectrum. And now very easily, you can select any one of these speeds, right? If you wanted to see, right, if your customer is really indecisive or they're really just kind of projecting or anticipating scaling up in the future and they want to see all their different speeds available, you can select all the speeds if you really wanted to, right? In this scenario, I'm just going to keep it apples to apples. I'm going to do 100 meg across the board. I can select different term options, 3-year term. Lumen, 100 meg, I'll do 3-year term, and I'll kind of keep this consistent all the way down here. And then now we're here looking at shared internet, right? And what's nice about this Pricing Pro page here is that you're reminded about the statuses, right? Quick connect, on net. If you don't know what something means, you can just select that. Quick connect, fiber is built to location, available for fast turn up, 30 days or less. It's really great information to know and relay to the customer just to set that expectation. And then for shared internet, we'll do the 1 gig for Spectrum. Let me just select the term without router. All right, now I'll hit run pricing. All right. So as these wheels are spinning, right, this is because the system's making that real-time request into all these different provider systems, right? Verizon, Spectrum, AirSpring, Lumen. The system is making a real-time request to pull that pricing from their systems in real time. That's how partners can ensure and really confide in the Pricing Pro to deliver the latest and most up-to-date pricing, right? So this is pricing that you can turn around and share with your customers or present to your customers because it's coming directly from the source. It's not something that we're coming up with. It's not formulas that we're kind of producing. This is straight from the provider systems via an API connection that allows it to present to us here. So the pricing's already produced, right? This is ready. Before we dive into the pricing, you're gonna notice two quick things. On the top right-hand corner, you see my contact info, my title, my email. On your login, under the profile section, you can customize this section, and that's important because you're going to have the ability to email this to your customers, right? Either via an email pricing text or via a link to a dashboard that looks exactly like this. So you're going to want to make sure that your information's up there. One, so it's super handy, but two, because it's going to feel very personalized for your customer, right? So instead of calling this the street name, you might actually call this the exact company name, right? Because as you're presenting this to the customer, you want them to feel like, hey, this is a personalized quote just for you. This is John Little. And here I'm putting the customer's information again, because I'm keeping in mind that, hey, I'm going to send this to the customer. I want them to know that this is for them, right? They're the IT manager. And then this email address that you enter here, super important because that's the email that the customer is going to receive this RFQ that you generate for them. So here I just put my email. And then as you're looking at this quote, right, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I have four different dedicated internet options. The customer was just looking for 100 meg options. I don't know if I need to really send them four, right? You have an indecisive customer. You don't want them to spend any longer just kind of thinking about, what they want to select. You might look at this and say, I'm gonna remove the highest pricing at the moment. So in this case, it's gonna be the 596. You can simply hit the minus, delete, and it's gone. And now you've simplified that section for dedicated internet. Quick, quick thing to notate. You'll notice here where it says notes, you can view note for any one of these. And it's really important that you do so. If I hit view note, AirSpring is using Lumen as the access provider for speed at this location, right? That's very helpful, right? If the customer already has Lumen, they might want some redundancy. In this scenario, they may not want Lumen as the access provider again. So that's a great way and great insight just to have as you're talking to customers. So I always encourage our partners, just be mindful of those notes to see what pops up. Same thing for Spectrum Coax. If you view this note, we're reminded after the first 12 months, this has been very standard for the last five, for many, many years they've done this. Customer gets kind of an introductory rate the first 12 months. On month 13, they can expect, a small increase in that MRC. But once you're satisfied with the pricing, you don't want to remove anything, you're ready to present this to your customer, you can email them a pricing text, or you can email them a link, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So if I hit save an email customer, tech guy, and I'll call this RFQ, the system's already going to handle the introductions, right? It's already going to say, hello, John, hello, Mary, hello, Stacy. It's already going to have that salute. So we can just jump into the body right here. So we'll say something like, please review the below, and you can see the text that's already pre-populated. You can review the RFQ from this link, and the system's going to generate a URL. So I'll say something, please review the below. Let, let me know if you have any questions. And I'll hit send. And again, it's sending to the customer's address, right, that we entered up here. So I'll hit send. And now the system's sending a direct email to the customer. And I'm going to show you guys exactly from the customer's perspective what it's going to look like. I'm still in my admin view, right? So you still have these minuses, but from the customer's perspective, they're not going to see these, delete buttons, but it's going to look almost identical here. Here I have an image broken. I can update that in the profile section. But the main takeaway is your customer is going to have a link that looks like this, right? They just got that email, they've opened up that link, and now they're looking at all the different pricing that you've presented to them, how you've laid it out for them. And now the customer can make an informed decision with everything in front of them, right? It's very personalized. You have their company name. This was sent to John. John is looking at this right now and saying, okay, this is excellent. Sergio did a good job. He laid it out for me. And so now I'm comparing the different pricing, right? This customer might only care about just price point, right? They might look at a Lumen and Spectrum Fiber and say, these are going to be my best options. If they're satisfied with what they're looking at, they can hit request order. And what that's going to do, it's going to trigger an email that's going to be sent to the ACS partner that's going to say, hey, your customer, John Little with Tech Guy LLC, has just selected Lumen 100 meg for 415, and it's going to have all the details, right? You're going to get that confirmation email because, and then with that email, you're going to be able to work with your ACS channel manager in generating the agreements and then ultimately, closing that deal. So it's a very streamlined process. Also, in the very near future, and I think we're probably about 97% of the way there, and we're continuing to expand upon this, but the ability for partners to or sorry, for the partners customers to hit accept, and then there's going to be a window where they're going to be able to actually place their information so that the order can be generated right from this screen, right? That's just going to save some clicks and really streamline the process where the moment your customer has this open, they're not going to be able to leave. They're going to be super intrigued by the pricing. They're going to hit accept, and it's going to populate that customer detail form so that they can complete the contract with their information. And that's just really gonna balloon those close rates for our partners. And I know we're beta testing this with AT&T and ACC, and there's some other providers that we're going to roll this out with. So be on the lookout for that because that's going to be a game changer. But yeah, once, what's really great about this RFQ dashboard is that every stage, whether a customer's looking at the RFQ, once they've accepted the order, you're going to get notified in real time, right? You're going to get those real-time email alerts that's going to say, hey, Sergio, your customer just opened up the RFQ. They've just selected an item. Um, in addition to that, you can always revisit all your RFQs under RFQ history. Same thing for your searches. Your searches get saved under search history, right? This is all confidential. This is your own portal, right? We don't utilize it for any other reason. We want our partners to know that, use this tool with confidence. If you have any questions or any concerns, you can reach out to your ACS channel manager. But ultimately, we want you guys to get the most value out of this tool, right? So again, there's that search history, that RFQ history for you, but also within this RFQ, right, as you're revisiting your RFQ history, you'll notice up here it says RFQ data. It's kind of hidden. The customer doesn't see this, by the way, right? We're kind of in the admin view. We have access to this. Partners will have access to this. Customers will never see this. This just gives you kind of that metadata about, when this was created, when it was sent to the customer, how many times the customer has opened, right? This is really insightful, right? Maybe you have a customer that's opened this 10 times. You might be wondering, right, why are they opening it so many times? And it might lead to a conversation where you might be able to say, hey, I noticed you've opened the RFQ a few times, wanting to know if you have any questions. In addition to that, you'll notice two other statuses: open, right? The Pricing Pro, this RFQ dashboard, it also functions like a mini CRM where depending on the stage in the sales cycle, you're able to change these percentages, right? Maybe you're in the presentation stage or you've already sent this to the customer and they're ready to make a decision. That's important because when you revisit those RFQs in your history, you can filter by all the RFQs and all the proposals that you have out there in the decision phase or in the introduction phase or presentation phase. And it just gives you the ability to really have more control and manage your RFQs in a very streamlined manner. All right. Well, I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on this call. I know it was kind of funny in the beginning with sorry about that, guys. Again, genuinely, my internet went out the minute I logged in and shared my screen. It was really bizarre, but I'm happy to be here. We're going to send all our partners a recording of today's call. And then stay tuned for next month because I promise we're going to continue to dive deeper into our ACS portal. And there's so many features. So many times partners come to us and say, hey, do you guys have a page for this? Or is there somewhere where I can access this provider information or see my orders, right? We have a dedicated orders page for all the orders that you're submitting. And we're going to dive into this stuff next month. So stay tuned. You know, the partner portal is constantly being enhanced. Fiber lookup, I mean, the amount of hours that our dev team spends on this to enhance it, to make those new API connections, it continuously gets better and stronger and just more information rich, right? I didn't mention this at the beginning of the call, but if there's any partner questions, I'll just take a moment to address those and look at now. Let's see what we have here. Questions chat. Someone mentioned, does it copy? I'm trying to think. Great question. If there's multiple locations, we do have a bulk upload process, but it's a very it takes a moment to kind of set up. So really it's for those customers that might have 30 plus locations. If you have anything under 30 locations, my recommendation is reach out to your ACS channel manager. I mean, this is why you have your dedicated channel manager, a support manager, you have a marketing manager. These are people who are all experts on the fiber lookup tool. We want to help you tackle these things, right? Don't feel like you're alone. Even though these tools are available to you, we are here to support you, right? We love partners who are autonomous and can do it on their own and just kind of reach out when there's an issue. But we're also here for all the partners who want some extra support in quoting, understanding the tool, especially for those multi-location deals, right? We want to be able to present the information in a way, and we have some very creative ways of doing this. Present the information in a way where your customer is going to be able to compare the pricing, see who the LEC is in all these areas, see if there's fiber options, shared options, and present it in a way that's going to help you win the deal. So yeah, we're definitely happy to support you in that. Let me see what else is here. Believe we answered that. There's a question someone's typing. I'll just monitor that quickly. Cool. All righty, cool. So with that being said, I just want to thank everybody for your time today. Thank you for bearing with me. I assure you, and fingers crossed that my internet won't go out next time. But again, we're going to send a recording of what we discussed today, and look out again for that email for the next one because there's going to be something new and new takeaways for you and your team. And again, if you think that you'd like me to touch on something even further for next time, or maybe you'd like me to sit down with your team and talk fiber lookup, pricing pro, or partner portal, I'm happy to do that. So be on the lookout for that email, reach out to us, and we'll be happy to set something up. So thank you, everyone. My name has been Sergio Torres, and I appreciate everyone for your time. Until the next one, thank you.